The University of Detroit Mercy presents another brand new episode of Ask the Professor, the radio show on which you match wits with University of Detroit Mercy professors in an unrehearsed session of questions and answers. Today's program was recorded using Zoom video conferencing technology.
The University Tower chimes ring in another session of Ask the Professor, the show in which you match wits with University of Detroit Mercy professors in an unrehearsed session of questions and answers. I'm your host, Matt Maggio, and let me introduce to you our panel for today. She showed up early, like she was told. It's Professor Beth Oljar.
Good to be here.
Thank you for following directions, even though I know the news coverage is basically 24/7 on the Queen's passing. It's kind of hard to ignore, it's kind of hard to ignore. It's over every channel.
Yeah, and it's interesting. So it's making me want to watch The Crown again.
Right.
But the new season 5 is going to be released in November. So actually, after I finish doing all the Harry Potters, which I just started last night, I'll go back to The Crown, I think.
Got it. I heard through the grapevine that in honor of that sort of formal 10-day mourning that they do, they won't be doing any production during these 10 days. So that's
right on season 6. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So moving to another chunk of the Commonwealth, it's Professor Dave Chow of Canada.
Pleasure to be here, as always.
So I was telling the story of how basically one of my wife's coworkers is a New Zealander, and I don't know whether it was a joke or not, but the first item on Parliament's agenda this morning was secession from the Commonwealth. So how long till we expect the same from our neighbor to the north?
I don't think we ever will, honestly. I think Scotland will go before Canada will. So
that makes sense.
Probably.
Yeah, that makes sense a lot.
But the Aussies will go before Scotland does, I think.
Probably.
We'll see what happens. I'm still optimistic. You know what I'm actually waiting for? I'm waiting for new coins and new Canadian money.
I knew you were going to say that because, frankly, the Chow phone could ring at any moment. They may need a Prince Charles portrait. Let's be serious.
No. I do caricatures. He wouldn't like that. So,
well, he kind of is one.
It is. It's true.
So true. With the political angle, we can go to Professor Stephen Manning from the Department of Retired. First blush of not having Queen Elizabeth II around anymore on planet Earth, Stephen. What does it mean?
So you assume I keep up with this stuff in retirement? I mean, that's what retirement is. Actually, that's very interesting. We're talking about this. I have had subscribed to some academic journals that I use, teaching and research and stuff. And over the last several years, I've been getting the notices to renew these and have one by one said, no, it's going in the trash. And I believe the last one is on my desk.
Wow.
So I'm at the point where, do I really want this? I read it a lot less. I'm still interested, but sure. So if it ends up in the trash, that will be, I think, a threshold event.
But if I remember your research area, Stephen, you were very much well-versed in the politics in China, right?
Well, yeah, China, Russia, the communist and then post-communist.
Okay.
And now back to communist countries.
Right. So what does the death of Queen Elizabeth mean in that arena, just off the top of your head?
Yeah, that wasn't one of my specialties. And I was reading, the New York Times had a special supplement on the Queen, of course, and all these pictures. And when it was her coronation picture in June or July of 1953, wow. Looking unbelievably young compared to, what she looks like now. But a lot of, and they had quotes from all of the many recent presidents, I think going back to at least Carter, but all very, very complimentary on what a wonderful person she was. Warm, intelligent, humorous. Of course, it doesn't make any difference to. And I think actually her last official act was welcoming the new prime minister.
On her 15th.
And I think on Tuesday it was, her 15th. I think on Tuesday it was her, she was hospitalized Tuesday, or I think it was Tuesday. And then, the death 2 days after that. So
Incredible.
it won't
Although-
change British politics at all, but,
Yeah.
Drew did tell me an interesting story that he heard, which ties into Russia, that apparently the Queen was meeting Putin as one of the world leaders that she met. And there was some other British government official who was there who had a dog, and the dog would not stop growling at Putin. So the Queen leans down to pat the dog and says softly, "Good boy." I want to hope that that's true,
That is awesome.
It may not actually be true, but it should be.
It should be. It should be.
well, it is widely
Continuing,
known that Putin would have a dog at some of these meetings to intimidate whoever he was meeting with. So
That's gross.
I suspect that story's true.
Yeah.
Particularly Angela Merkel.
Yeah.
She had had a
Yes,
bad
oh, yes,
experience
yes,
as a child
particularly
with
her.
dogs, and
Yeah.
he would always bring a mean dog with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Well, we're being joined again by Professor Erin Bell, who is all over the College of Liberal Arts and Education social media lately. Congratulations on your, it was a presentation, right, Erin?
I guess so. Yeah, that's what I heard. I ran into a student in the library yesterday. I was like, "Oh, I just saw you on social media." Yeah, there's been a lot going on with the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning. And though I am not on the tenure track, I like to keep up. And that's one of the reasons I am here. I want to learn more. And I think, the main thing that I've gotten out of the last couple of days with the death of the Queen is just an intense need to listen to more Freddie Mercury. So that's where I'm headed with this. But yeah, thanks for having me. And it's been great. I'm really excited to be part of this community.
Excellent.
We're
Excellent.
community?
Your community.
Oh, dear Lord.
community. Just like the
Small
show.
and big. Professor Heather Hill is back. I believe this is the first episode you're in this season. You and Stephen, we're glad to have you here in season 2023.
Thank you.
So
Doesn't
now,
feel like I don't feel like I've ever left.
well, because the show at Dakota Inn ended up basically being the last episode of the 2022 season. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
The joke.
My
that
my chronology was a little confused, I guess.
Tell them why.
I did.
Oh, you already told them.
Yeah.
I think he was talking to me, Beth,
Oh.
but that's okay. If you'd like to go ahead and say it again,
No, I want to hear you say it.
me?
Uh-oh.
Oh, Stephen's brother is in town. So
Excellent.
we have been busy with him.
Nice.
Yes, it has been very nice.
Show him
he's
around
from
town and we probably-
Phoenix. He's from Phoenix. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say for someone from Arizona, I don't think we've had much better weather this summer than these last few days. It's
We
been pretty-
really lucked out. Yes, he's at 111 degrees in
Oh.
Phoenix since he's been here. He
Mm.
wakes up here and he goes out, and I told him to bring a jacket because it's now, high 50s in the morning when we get up.
right.
So yes, he's loving the weather and not looking at the weather in Phoenix that he's returning to on Sunday.
And the Tigers actually won the game we took him to.
That's cool.
That's a big
That
deal.
was nice
And they actually played some
and refreshing.
They played some decent baseball, and it was a Friday night, so you had, of course, the fireworks. So
Nice,
that was
nice.
enjoyable.
Professor Dan Maggio is also here. What's going on, Dan?
Oh, not too much. Laughing at Bally. I'm assuming that was Bally on
Yeah,
Bean's lap.
she cannot figure out where she wants to go, so she's just wandering all over the desk.
But survived another long week, and looking forward to the weekend.
That's right.
So,
The waning days of summer, Dan.
Yeah, it's
They're
fantastic.
coming down. Summer is, yeah. I think that even if it is relatively warm today, waking up and seeing 58 on the old thermostat in the car is kind of a big deal. I agree with everybody who's mentioned that.
It's a Canadian summer.
Yeah, exactly. Last but most certainly not least, Professor Jim Tubbs is here with us today.
Hello, hello.
What's your take on the passing of the Queen, Jim?
Well, I agree with one of the commentators for I think it was MSNBC, who's British, commented that his brain was fully prepared for this, but other parts of him were not. I kind of felt that way when, they were announcing on television that she was under medical supervision for the whole day, and then they come on and announce that she died.
Yeah.
I mean, she had just been crowned a month before I was born. So my whole life has been with her.
Let's see, what, 2022 minus.
1953. She was crowned in June and I was born in July.
That's incredible. That is absolutely
Do
incredible.
we all have a weird connection to the crown somehow, some way?
Well, the name Elizabeth does produce incredible
True.
results. I'm just
There we go. There we
I
go.
think my birthday is the same as the Queen Mother's birthday, or was,
Oh,
July 22nd.
Drew's
Jim-
family were the Queen's ditch diggers.
I'm Erin Elizabeth, and my dad was from Glasgow. So, hey, we have
There
that.
you go.
When you're talking about Scottish independence, the last time I was there was right before the vote, and there was tangible electricity in the air, but we all know how that went. So,
Mhm. Maybe next time. Maybe next time.
I don't know. if
Much
we'll
We
like-
should have some questions about Elizabeth
Queen.
II.
At this point, that's a no-brainer, and I hope that the listeners are going to, immediately, diligently get to work. But till then, folks, I'll just remind you, this is a program. You can send us questions regarding anything. You stump the panel, you win a prize. If you don't stump the panel, you win a prize. You can send us the questions in a number of ways. You can email us at atp@udmercy.edu. Find us on Facebook and Instagram, or listen on your favorite smart speaker by asking it to play Ask the Professor at University of Detroit Mercy. Okie dokie. I've got a set of questions here. Something a little bit of a short list, a softball, if you will, to get us going. Dear profs, here's a list of 10 questions about Michigan. I'm choosing that a passing grade is 8 out of 10. Good luck. This is Lane Stevens, who was a student in Jason Roach's classes last year. So Lane Stevenson sent us some questions about the great state of Michigan. We know that Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes, but Minnesota actually has nearly 15,000 lakes.
Who's
How many
counting?
lakes does Michigan have?
Ooh.
I think it's like 11,000.
It's
Yeah.
11,000. Yeah, it's just about 11,000 lakes. So we can
Dan,
take that title.
Dan,
Dan.
go, Dan, go.
So Jeff's not here today, so I get to answer the numbers question. The number
Yes.
question.
Do you remember Michigan's motto? You don't need to say it in Latin if you don't want to.
If you seek a pleasant peninsula, look about you, or something like that.
That's exactly the wording. If
Something
you
like that,
seek
yeah.
A pleasant peninsula, look about you. Absolutely.
I was going to say land of 11,000 lakes, but I guess not.
Pretty close. Pretty close. Water, winter, wonderland.
Mhm.
What is Michigan's state stone?
Petoskey Stone.
Yeah, Petoskey Stone. I have, I think, sort of blown my wife's mind. We only go up to my mom and dad's place near Port Huron 3 times a year, the 3 major American summer holidays. And every time we go to the beach, I just lean over and pick up a rock. I'm like, well, here's a Petoskey Stone. She's like, they're really common. I'm like, I think that's why they're our state stone. It's
Mhm.
everywhere. It's everywhere.
Still cool.
Yeah, very, very cool stuff. What city was the first capital of the state of Michigan before Lansing?
Detroit. I'm gonna go Detroit.
Detroit.
It was Detroit. Yeah, it was Detroit.
It wasn't Clausen, so
Just waiting for the Clausen jokes.
I know.
started them.
It's one of our tropes, isn't
You know,
it?
it's
Oh,
one of
I
our
didn't know
jokes.
that. So I'm glad I'm here then. I'm super glad I'm here for the class.
The first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at the time was a Detroiter. Who was she?
Aretha
Patti Smith?
Franklin.
Aretha Franklin.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Ooh, sorry.
Makes perfect sense. Oh my gosh, Michigan has the longest freshwater coastline in the United States. Based on the number of miles, how long would you say that coastline is?
Oh, Dan, save our bacon, please.
I mean, how long do you think it's up one side of Michigan on the coast?
Oh, let's not forget the UP.
You got to do the UP
300
too.
miles. So if you do 300 on 2 sides, plus the
Oh.
thumb, maybe that's 700.
And
plus
what's
the plus the UP.
UP's almost all surrounded.
I'm gonna
so-
guess 1,800 miles.
Mm. It's
Not
about
even
double
close.
that.
Oh my
23?
God, really?
3,300 miles.
Oh,
of freshwater
wow.
I
coast.
figured it
Yikes.
had to be several thousand, but I
Well, somebody,
didn't want to say anything because I'm not from here.
I was
So
waiting
Oh.
for somebody to jump in and
And save your bacon, right? So,
Yeah,
sorry.
exactly. Hey, how many?
Hey.
How many quadrillion gallons of fresh water are in all 5 Great Lakes combined?
Quad-
Quadrillion?
That's what comes after billion. for the
Yikes.
record.
After a trillion.
Oh, after a
50.
trillion, pardon me. Yes, after a
50.
trillion.
a
Oh.
bajillion quadrillion.
Google
Yeah.
Plus. Google
I
Plus.
would say
160.
74 quadrillion.
It's one more power down, Jim. It's only six
Only.
quadrillion
Only six
gallons of
quadrillion.
fresh water. That's a lot. Let's just say
That is a lot.
it's a lot. Last but most certainly not least, I love this. It's been a while since I've heard this one. There is supposedly a 30 to 40 foot long monster that
Oh.
lives in Lake Erie. What is that monster's nickname?
It's not Ogopogo, is it? No, it's not Champ.
Mm-mm.
Not Nessie, obviously.
Bowser,
How is it?
It's not Nessie.
Messy,
Lessie,
Messy.
So they apparently nicknamed it Bessie. I mean, I just
Bessie.
Oh.
play on Nessie. Yeah, so that's what we're dealing with here. That was very nice. Thanks for sending in those questions, Lane. It's pretty fun. As always, when the students send us questions, somehow it's as if the professors, like instructed them to. They supply the source material, at least where they found it on the internet. That's a good place to
That's
start.
wonderful.
Hey, it beats the good old days of them giving you the website on the sheet of paper.
That's right.
So
Hey, Professor Mayo and ATP panelists, what did you do during COVID stay-at-home protocols? Well, I stayed home and watched classic talk or interview shows that I could find on YouTube. This leads me to today's set of questions. 4 questions attached, just 4. Each question describes one of my favorite talk shows that I watched during the lockdown. Your job is to decipher the title of the show. As a hint, all of the shows went off the air several decades ago. That's a good start.
Oh, okay.
A passing
Okay.
score is 3 out of 4. That makes sense. FYI, your panelists should be free to discuss whether they also liked these shows.
Hated them all.
Very, very much. Good luck. From Palm Springs, California, it's our old friend, Alan Ira. Thank you for sending in the questions, Alan. That's
Tom
awesome.
Snyder is going to be one of these hosts, I think.
Here we
But
go.
I could be wrong.
Arsenio. Oh,
So it's a relatively, lengthy based on the regular set of questions that we have. A couple lines of description of the show, and then we'll see if you can grab the title. The host of this show was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in 1936. It debuted in the early 70s and was revamped several times. The host interviewed, among others, Hitchcock, Bruce Lee, Jimmy Hoffa, John Lennon, Ayn Rand, Faye Dunaway, Patty Page, David Letterman, Ken Kesey,
Dick
U2,
Dick
circa
Cavett.
1981.
Dick
Dick
Cavett.
Cavett.
Oh, the Sex Pistols, cast members of Star Trek, and the actors who played the Little Rascals. On a lighter note, the host also interviewed Charles Manson in a California medical facility in Vacaville, California.
Mike Douglas.
Mm-mm.
No, I know who did that Manson interview. I can't.
What's he look like, Beth?
Was
Come
it-
on, work it out.
were these all evening late night talk shows?
That
They
wasn't
did.
Tom Snyder, was it?
It was Tom Snyder. Yeah, the
Oh,
name of the
there you
show
go.
is the very hilariously named Tomorrow Show. The Tomorrow
Yes.
Show with Tom Snyder. Yep, absolutely. I never had a chance to watch that. I grew up in the early 70s. However, I have a burned in my brain memory of Dan Aykroyd doing his Tom Snyder on SNL. and-
Accurately too, with
Pretty
cigarette and
accurate.
everything. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I saw that before I actually saw the real one.
Yeah, exactly. His laugh as Tom Snyder is actually like top quality comedy material. Okay. Let's see. This show aired in the early 90s, ran in the early morning following Saturday Night Live. The host was a licensed psychiatrist, spoke to callers who had personal questions about relationships.
Dr. Drew.
Oh, it doesn't say that.
No?
Dr.
Oh, man,
Ruth?
I was so excited that I was going to get one right this time. Darn it.
It's okay. It's okay.
Wait a minute.
The questions were about relationships, medicine, psychology, and family. Examples of callers including a child who stopped attending school because he was bullied, a wife who was worried how her young son would react if he found out his father was a cross-dresser, okay? A female victim of domestic violence by her husband, who was a police officer, a minister's wife whose out-of-control husband was having multiple affairs, and an aunt whose preteen nephew was recently arrested for, that not good things with the child. According to Wikipedia,
A happy-go-lucky show.
Was it a female host?
it doesn't sound like it. According to Wikipedia, the host was the author of a best-selling autobiography, Making of a Psychiatrist, which ended up being nominated for a Pulitzer Prize. What was either the host or the title of that show?
Dr. Drew is a great guess.
It's
Yeah,
a
I was
great
gonna-
guess. Yeah, no, 100%. But that's not what it
It
says
was
here.
after Saturday Night Live?
After Saturday Night Live,
Oh.
early 90s, it says.
See, and this was when I was actually up at that time.
Yeah,
too.
I know.
Yes.
I had a very, very, very vague, recollection of the show, but I always flip the channel. I've said this before, to channel 20 in Metro Detroit. This would have been when I was a student here. And it was like the weird stuff. It was the occult stuff, the In Search Of, and every once in a while you would see a certain professor at University of Detroit Mercy on those shows.
What's his face?
Father Saliba was on those shows all the time, talking about the occult and whatever, and his awesome Malton accent. I'm sorry.
The Mad Maltese, John Saliba.
This show was Night Talk with David Viscott. That's what it was called.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
I'm pretty sure in a line or two you're going to get this one. This TV show first aired in 1967. It ran for nearly 30 years. The daytime talk show included topics that were controversial at the time.
Old Donahue.
Same-sex marriage, atheism, whether feminine products should be allowed to advertise on TV, and homeschooling.
That's ridiculous.
Circa 1981. That's wild. The
Wow.
Phil
So he
Donahue
started in
show.
the 60s. I
absolutely.
didn't know that.
Yeah, that was old stuff. Old stuff.
He wasn't he married to Marlo Thomas?
Yeah.
Still is.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I have visions, being very, very young, of my mom watching Donahue, and then we did a skit in high school, again, early 90s, of a talk show, just any talk show. And the friend of mine who played the host on it would do the Donahue thing where he would get down on one knee and hold the microphone up. I think about that every once in a while. Like that was his calling card, you know.
Hey, some of us remember Dinah Shore and Mike Douglas.
Oh, yeah. However, that's not the last one.
Oh,
So
okay.
here we go. We only have one more.
Oh, this is make or break.
This show ran, from 66 to 99. The host, who once ran unsuccessfully for mayor of New York, interviewed celebrities.
Jerry, what's his
Springer.
name?
No,
Springer.
he was Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Oh,
Artists, authors, theologians, labor leaders, writers, intellectuals. His guests included, among others, Mother Teresa, Henry Kissinger.
David
Dick
Frost.
Cavett?
No,
David Frost, Dick Cavett, who else?
No.
Tom Wolfe, George Wallace, Jimmy
Come on,
Carter,
Stephen, work it out.
Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, Margaret Thatcher,
Oh.
Ginsburg, Chomsky, Skinner. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Wow.
was he on CNN?
Truman Capote, Oliver North.
It's
And
quite a
Mark
list.
Who was the talk show on CNN? 9 to 10.
Wolf Blitzer, you're thinking of?
Larry King.
Oh,
It's not.
That'd be a good one.
that's a good guess though.
Hang on,
Yeah.
it's in Steven's head. I can see it swirling around his eyes right about now.
And I can't get it out.
Oh,
How about I do this? How about I give you, he's looking for the name of the show, Alan is, but I'll give you the name of the show because I think it might help you discover the host. The name of the show was Firing Line, was what it was called.
Oh,
William F.
Buckley.
William
Buckley.
Buckley?
Buckley.
Buckley.
Oh.
Yeah,
I was
Buckley.
gonna say that, but I thought these were only nighttime shows.
Yeah. What were the years of that?
Nope.
66 to 99?
That's what it says. Yeah.
Wow.
Dang.
staying power. And what's brutal to me about looking at those numbers, I'm sorry, I can't help myself. I am not reveling in this by a long shot, is the cutoff for how entranced we were about talk shows, right? Is right when reality TV turned on, because basically it replaced it if you think about it.
Yeah.
So, I remember watching Morton Downey Jr.
Oh, good Lord.
How do you like them apples? Okay. We're getting closer to the end of our episode, and since we have such a great panel here today, what I think might be important is for us to go back to the list of the Burroughs family imponderables.
Ooh.
So we're going to take a look and give everybody a chance to freely respond to, I don't know if we've ever talked about this one before.
Oh, he's
Let's
scaring
go
me.
across- What's that, Dave?
You're scaring me, Matt. You got this devilish look about you, like.
Well, only because I think that we're all old enough that we can talk about this now.
Oh.
What's your favorite app?
Oh.
Favorite what?
Favorite
Your
what?
favorite app on your mobile device?
Favorite app?
Hold on, let me take a look.
Amazon shopping.
Nice, nice. That was going to come up no matter what. I mean, are we going?
Are we talking
games?
useful? Or are we talking entertainment? What are we
Are we
talking
going
about?
Flappy Bird here? You know what I mean? Like Wordle?
Shazam?
I don't play games on my phone, so except solitaire very occasionally.
My 7-Eleven app? Oh,
I noticed that a number of us are looking at our phones going, let's see where frequency is on these apps.
I don't know if I have a favorite. I can tell you the one I probably use the most is Instagram.
Instagram, sure. Yeah.
But
Makes
I don't know
sense.
if I have a favorite.
I think probably my credit union app.
Hey, there you
Yeah, I
go.
use
and
that a
just
lot.
transfer a couple more bucks my way.
I
Okay,
won't, I
Joe?
won't
Boring.
advertise which one, but it just banking.
Makes your
is-
life easier, yeah.
Don't you
Yeah.
have a Costco app on your phone, Jim?
No,
Oh, wow.
I do, but I don't use it very
What
often.
else do I? What else do I have on
The
this?
Costco app is very useful because then you don't need to remember your card. You're not going to forget your phone, but it's easy to forget your card, you know?
Oh.
I get
No,
one-
I'm go Shazam. It's easy enough. Saves my musical guessing. That's all. So
Okay.
I just
have something that's like Shazam, and this is really nerdy but so super cool. It's called Merlin, and it's for bird watching.
Birds, yeah.
And
I have that.
think it's the coolest thing. I love it when I'm traveling because you can do recordings, and it's almost like you get these little snapshots because I can do a screen grab, and it identifies the bird call. So
you literally listen for a bird with this app?
yeah, I've got it's in my fanny sack. I pull out my phone and I hit record,
Love
and
it.
it like tells me what birds I'm hearing, which is really, really super cool. So I have to
Whoa.
say, I think it's the coolest thing. My family kind of thinks it's quite nerdy, but I just think it's amazing.
It is nerdy, but that's half the fun of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
in the same vein, I had for a while a plant identifier
Yes.
app on my phone,
Yep,
but
yep.
I had a free trial and then it got too expensive.
Oh,
so
that plant
Yep.
ID thing or whatever one.
yeah, so I got rid of it. but-
There's also Marcy's got one that you might be interested in. It's a free one that's pretty accurate.
okay.
But this one also identifies animals, and I've been listed as a mammal. So
Okay,
you can actually
cool.
take pictures of one another, and
Cool.
it'll identify you not as a plant, but it'll list you as a species of some kind.
Maybe you should
Nice.
try to
Okay.
plant. You should try to
Alright.
plant one on you and see what it's.
there's another one that's
Yeah,
useless
that's
in
a good one,
Michigan,
Dan. I
but
like
you
it.
can point it at mountain ranges and it will identify,
Mount
what
Clement.
mountains there are.
Pointed at you guys. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
You
I had one-
Midwesterners with your ideas about mountains.
Ice
Really
nipples. They're
fun.
Michigan ice nipples, Beth.
I had one for a long time. I think it went the way of Heather's description, where it was like free for a while, and then suddenly it just wasn't on my phone anymore. And it was like over 16,000 molecules, and the students didn't know it, but it was the bane of their existence because I never had to repeat a chemical structure on any given. I would just hit the randomizer and be like, well, that's the molecule we're talking about today. So you've never seen it before. Oh, apparently it's an anti-cancer drug, It's kind of a cool compendium
cool.
of structures. So
That's cool.
wow.
Oh,
Anything
wasn't-
else?
Steven.
I do like Shazam because I think there is so much on TV shows that we watch, the soundtracks are so fantastic now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Oftentimes on the closing credits,
Yep.
it's like, wow, that's a great song. So you do the Shazam thing. But I have one that I don't use it very often. They send me stuff, so I'm not even sure it's an app, but it's on Huskies. I think it's called Happy Husky or something.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And they have like several times a week, they'll have a, like this summer, they had a big thing on why is your husky panting? Well, because it's hot, and how much food should I do my husky, and all this husky related kind of stuff. How to train a husky, why it's impossible to train your husky. Ours has, by the way, since my brother's arrival, has taken up smoking and just this morning drinking coffee from a coffee cup. So you can't leave anything around. He drank a half a cup of coffee this morning.
Peter's cup of coffee.
Yeah, like he needs to be any more wired, right?
Right.
Wow.
But this stuff seems to happen when Steve and I are not in the house. And
Always.
Peter's
always.
here.
Wait a
Hmm.
minute. He's
I
training
wanna-
your jaw.
I want a picture of Kenai with a cigarette.
Well,
That would be
he doesn't do
super
this.
cool.
He doesn't do this in front of us. We
Oh.
later discover there's a pack of cigarettes, my brother's, he's taken from, he took a pack of his cigarettes unopened out of his suitcase in the guest room and put it in the floor. He doesn't eat it. He doesn't eat the cigarettes, but he just takes it out as if to
But-
show us that if I want
just
to, I
sniffs
can.
He did eat some cigarette butts though.
Uh-oh,
Oh.
not good for
Ugh.
no-go.
Wait a minute. Now, are you finding like lighters slightly spent too now? I mean, yeah. Steven,
not
I
just for
put a lock
breakfast
on the
anymore.
cigars.
It's the bad influence of Uncle Peter.
Uh-oh.
I have noticed Kenai coughing more often the last couple of days. I'll tell you this. He's gonna miss my brother when he leaves Sunday morning.
Wait a minute.
He's
You
getting
know he's
real
gonna
further.
sneak off to the neighborhood party store and pick up like a pack.
Yeah.
So
Gosh, this is the
So-
perfect button for our episode here, because I'm afraid we're out of time, and the time has come for us to say goodbye. Jim,
Goodbye.
Dan,
Goodbye.
Heather,
Enjoy your next meeting, Matt.
thanks. Aaron,
Bye-bye.
Stephen,
Goodbye.
Dave,
see ya.
and Beth.
Goodbye.
And now these words from University of Detroit Mercy.
Ask the Professor is transcribed in, all of our homes, but usually it's in the Briggs Building in the Department of Communication Studies in the College of Liberal Arts and Education at University of Detroit Mercy's McNichols campus. Ask the Professor is produced and technically directed by Michael Jason and Brian Masonville, and our executive producer is Professor Jason Roach. Until next week, I'm your host, Matt Maio.